Day one of action here at Mondello Park, and action for the Suzuki Swifts comes thick and fast. After the 3 qualifying rounds, Rob Shield has been the man to beat, fastest across all 3, Simon Overton and Morgan Bailey being the best of the rest. We have enough cars for 2 semi-finals, and the first is about to get underway. Rob Shield then, who's had 2 second places in the overall finals this year, is on pole position. Morgan Bailey, Christian Hainsworth with him at the front. And the front-wheel drive screamers blast away. Rob Shield it is then who gets the advantage on the run down towards turn number 1. There's a bit of leaning going on, and eventually Christian Hainsworth, who was on the outside line, has to back out of it. Today, the road is being used anti-clockwise. It's a different track configuration for round 5 of the championship tomorrow. Through they come, nose to tail for the race lead. There is Morgan Bailey right on the back of Rob Shield. He's racing Formula Ford. He's been a very quick rallycrosser. His dad, Michael Shield, of course, former British rallycross champion. And the Shield family, instrumental in keeping Croft alive in the 1980s, long before it reopened as a full race circuit. It was rallycross that really was its only activity. Had the Internations Cup, had the British Championship, had BTRDA events. And the Shield family always inextricably linked to rallycross and Croft in particular. So Rob Shield looking for a maiden win of the year. He was second at Croft, he was second at Pembrey. He leads the way in this semi-final. He turns his way then across that loose section of circuit, trying to build an advantage all the time over the rest of them. In this championship, which is a good low-cost way into rallycross, everybody has the same base car, and it delivers a very competitive category indeed. Through the left-hander at the hole in the hedge, as it's called, and then the run down towards turn 2. There is Christian Hainsworth. He's dropped back, having served the joker lap that everybody must do. You have to thread your way between the tyre stacks for the chicane and the joker lap. Not used at every circuit within British rallycross. Croft, for example, doesn't have one, but it is increasingly common and increasingly popular because it certainly makes very good racing. There is Hainsworth then, hard at work. He turns out of the south side Motor Factors corner and hits the loose section of circuit once more. Back to tarmac. Tomorrow's joker lap there is on the left, and then they turn through the hole in the hedge and down towards turn 2. They're always going, of course, from the loose to the tarmac to the loose. There's another strip of loose coming up before they get to the pit straight. Christian Hainsworth, though, there runs wide, and that delays him a little in his battle there with Mark Donnelly as they come up over the line. Donnelly has been good all day, getting faster and faster. Up front, though, Rob Shield looks pretty hard to stop in all of this, you've got to say. Hard on the brakes goes Donnelly. There is Shield threading through the joker lap. Downhill they drop in the battle for 3rd position, as it is in real terms. They go to the loose section of circuit once again. Nose to tail. Hainsworth looking for a way by, but Donnelly making that car wide enough. Rob Shield has hung on to the race lead, only just though. Morgan Bailey is close, and there Christian Hainsworth has a look for the inside. Down through the hole in the hedge, but he can't really get through there, and he can't either find a gap on exit of the corner and try and squirt it up the inside there through turn 2. Out of the Mobile 1 corner and over the timing line. So Rob Shield has the advantage, but it looks as though he's going to be able to hang on to it. It might be a modest gap come the end, but Morgan Bailey, try as he might, is just not really getting close enough. The gap is down ever so slightly, but Shield has it all under control as he goes from the loose to the tarmac once again. Turning their way now up towards the hole in the hedge for the left-hander. Too much power and you'll drift wide onto the grass and get caught up and bogged down in the dirt. That's happened to 1 or 2 over the course of the day. But Morgan Bailey is throwing everything at this as he comes out of Mobile 1 a bit wide then to start the last lap of the race. Through they come. They're not quite nose to tail for the lead, but they are for 3rd place. Christian Hainsworth from the outside of the front row has dropped back in real terms here, and he's still stuck behind Mark Donnelly. Hainsworth up the inside, and there's contact. He was on the grass. He leans on Donnelly, who understeers out wide. Hainsworth goes through. Pretty robust that, but it has worked for him. So Christian Hainsworth back up into 3rd position, and Mark Donnelly drops down to 4th. Can he retaliate before the very end of this first semi-final for the Swift Sport Suzukis? Locking up to the inside, Donnelly hits Hainsworth, turns him sideways. Then he puts himself in strife on the grass on the outside. The checkered flag is waved to Rob Shield, who wins the first semi-final. Morgan Bailey takes second. And who wins the DD to be third? It is going to be Christian Hainsworth in the end. Fourth is just Mark Donnelly. And then it is Rob Maynard behind as they come across the line. So a bruising first semi-final. Rob Shield, Morgan Bailey, Christian Hainsworth and Mark Donnelly are the four that will go through into the final. Rob Maynard only just missing out. We've had two different winners of finals over the course of the year. They're both on this grid. Simon Overton on pole has won two. Chris Woollett in the white car nearest the camera has won the other at Crofton. As the lights go to green, we go racing. Matt Maxted is between them, and Chris Woollett, former oval racer, makes the best start. Gets his nose in front. Now, is he going to be able to pull across here? Yes, he takes the advantage. Woollett leads on the way down towards turn one. Don McLeod with the Scottish flag on the roof of the car turns his way for the Joker lap nice and early. So the race leader is Chris Woollett. He is ahead and he's being chased by Simon Overton in second spot. Overton has had 2 wins this year and they're on the bounce as well. Liddon and Pembrey last time out. Chris Woollett won at the start of the season. Dominic Flitney goes through in the Flit Speed car, trying to stay with the race leaders, conscious that when he has to serve the Joker, he will lose time. So he needs a barometer of his own pace. What better to gauge than the pace of the leaders? And the lead changes. Over the line, Simon Overton goes through. Overton takes up the advantage then. Woollett drops to second and Flitney staying with them in third place. If he can match the pace of the top two, then that should keep him in the mix after he served the Joker. Across the loose section comes Simon Overton, but now that he's hit the front, he might well take some stopping out of all of this. Chris Woollett behind him, but as they dance their way back onto tarmac, coming through the hole in the hedge here, it remains 73, Simon Overton, who is up front. Brother Tristan, one of the stars of the Super National Championship with the V6 Clio, he's yet to have a final win. However, Simon Overton has done a very good job indeed. Comes over the timing line now then. There you can see Chris Woollett in second place, staying with him. Is he going to have a chance, though, to fight back? Let's see. Both of them, again, go for that loose section, the conventional rallycross route. And Simon Overton may have had to give best to Rob Shield in the qualifying heats, but of course it's the semi-final and the final that really matters. Back through the hole in the hedge they come. There you've got Chris Woollett in second spot. Turned his back on oval racing to come into rallycross. He's been getting better and better season after season within the Swift Sport Suzukis, and now one of the front runners. Battle on here. Don McLeod is trying to find himself another place. We've seen Don McLeod, the retired Border Force officer in RX 150s and the like in the past, but now having a full season in the Swifts. Simon Overton hits the loose surface once again. And Chris Woollett in second spot is just starting to drop away oh so slightly. Dominic Flitney still doing his best to stay with them in the self-tuned Flit Speed car. And Chris Woollett finds a big bump in the road there, which just unsettles him a little bit coming up towards the hole in the hedge. Battle is on here. Whoops, Don McLeod oh so nearly went for the Joker for a second time. Thinks better of it, doesn't want to lose any more ground, so turns sharp right and heads back towards the proper road. The leaders go through and the lead gap is extending, isn't it? Because there you can see Simon Overton is getting away. The delayed Don McLeod here comes through. He has gained a place, but he's fallen away from the pack he was chasing in real terms. So the leaders all have to Joker this time, and in fact it's the top 3 serving it on the same lap. So nobody really gaining out of this. You don't want to break ludicrously late because then you put yourself in strife of getting through the chicane. So everyone having to be careful, and Simon Overton now has really done enough, surely, to be on target for a second semi-final win here. Woollett wide, Woollett on the dirt, and that delays him, and that means the lead gap is even greater now. Up to the line in a moment will come Simon Overton to start the last lap of the race. Chris Woollett runs second. Matt Maxted, who was on the front row with him, has fallen back. There's Don McLeod still pushing. And you see how much dust is brought from the loose section onto the tarmac and specifically into a braking area. As you go from that surface change and have to slow the car down for a tight corner, suddenly you encounter the dust, and that really affects your grip level and indeed how readily available that braking is for you. There's Overton. He's back on the tarmac. Chris Woolett is going to qualify. It was a good start, wasn't it? He led briefly, but he's fallen away as the race has worn on. Down towards turn 2 and then through into Mobile 1 will come Chris Woolett, but ahead of him to take the checkered flag and win semi-final 2, Simon Ovenden comes across the line. Second does go the way of Chris Woolett, and the rest of the field pour through. And in fact, you look back, Matt Maxted fourth from the front row of the grid. Simon Ovenden then the winner of semi-final 2 ahead of Chris Woolett. Dominic Flitney taking third, and Matt Maxted is the fourth and final qualifier. 6 laps of action in the final for the Swift Sport Suzuki's. Coming up now, the front row of the grid has Rob Shield, Simon Ovenden and then Morgan Bailey at the front. Chris Woolett's on the second row with work to do. Christian Hainsworth alongside. Then it's Dominic Flitney, Mark Donnelly and Matt Maxted at the very back. When the green lights blink on, we'll be good to go racing right now. Rob Shield blast away. Up through the gears, it's an evenly matched start and Shield should have the advantage on the inside. Is he going to stay on a tight line and get the joker out of the way, or is he going to try and force his way across the road and go for the conventional circuit? Let's find out. He takes the normal line. Christian Hainsworth is amongst those and Dominic Flitney another, getting the joker done nice and early. So the 4 leaders bounce across the loose and it's Rob Shield ahead, but look who's second. Chris Woolett's made a good start and Ovenden gets in strife with Morgan Bailey. Contact there. Ovenden hangs on to the slide and also hangs on to third place. So Rob Shield, looking for a first win of the year, has the advantage at the moment as Ovenden and Bailey get together once again there. That's delaying them in their fight. And it's also bringing Matt Maxted into the picture behind them as well. Across the loose they come then, back to the tarmac. Rob Shield has the advantage and is getting away oh so slightly as the cars now work their way into Southside Motor Factors corner. The joker lap is taken this time around by an increasing number. Simon Ovenden is one of them. I think Morgan Bailey has done the same, so that starts to split up the picture of the race a little bit. Up front though, Rob Shield still controlling the pace. Mark Donnelly there, he's been increasingly quick over the course of the weekend. He's back onto the tarmac now. There, Ovenden in 73. Winner of the last 2 rounds, and he's got Christian Hainsworth tucked up behind him. This is a hard fight for Ovenden. He's also got Matt Maxted ahead, and he's trying to find a way past him. Over the line they come. Simon Ovenden lines up to have an attack on Maxted on the inside. Is he going to be able to make that move? He thinks about it, but it doesn't pay out for him. Rob Shield still leading the way then. And this fight is on between Maxted, Ovenden, and then it's Christian Hainsworth behind. One that's dropped back a bit seemingly is Morgan Bailey, who was quick across the semi-finals. Through the hole in the hedge they come. The lap's being ticked off and a big lunge up the inside. Was that Bailey having a go? And did it work? Let's see. You've got Maxted ahead of Ovenden and then a gap has opened up. I rather fear there was contact in the background. Rob Shield leads the way. Chris Woolett is second. It is Maxted from Ovenden and then Morgan Bailey has gained a place. To the inside line in 73 goes Simon Ovenden and he brakes as late as he dares and he goes through, gains another place. But maybe now a race win is out of the picture. He'll get closer to the leaders here because he doesn't have to joker this time, and they do, and that means that he's on the faster part of the circuit. Everybody feeds back in on the continuation of the lap after the joker. Chris Woolett comes under fire. Morgan Bailey, again, he's been aggressive in this race and he's desperately trying to find a way past Chris Woolett. So Rob Shield has the advantage. Ovenden is up to second now. Matt Maxted is up to third and Woolett drops back into fourth position. You see how over the course of the race that joker lap of the stagger does work. It shuffles the order a little bit. So Chris Woolett then, having lost places, coming under attack from Morgan Bailey, but now Matt Maxted has to go for the joker, so it'll all shuffle around again. Rob Shield looking good. Morgan Bailey having a go at Chris Woolett. Clatters up the inside, and that leaves the door open for Christian Hainsworth to get past the 2 of them, and also for Mark Donnelly to have a go. Morgan Bailey at that part of the circuit, at the hole in the hedge, I think 3 laps in a row now, has had a dive, and there's been contact, and Chris Woolett loses out and has another drama, and off the road he goes, bang, into the tyre barrier. Was that caused by damage after the clash with Morgan Bailey? Either way, there's a lot more damage now, sideways into the tyre stack. There, under attack is Mark Donnelly. So, one more lap to run, and it's all kicked off in the Swift Sports. They've got another day of racing still to come, so they don't want too much damage. And there, going through is Rob Shield, ahead look of Simon Ovenden. Mark Donnelly getting sideways, and Morgan Bailey has another drama at the hole in the hedge. This time, though, it doesn't actually affect anybody else. He gets it wrong on his own and slithers out wide. Rob Shield takes a first win of the season as he comes across the line to win the Swift Sport Final here at Mondello Park. A great drive with lots of battling going on behind him. So Rob Shield is the winner, Simon Ovenden taking second place, and a best of the season for Christian Hainsworth, giving him third. Mark Donnelly fourth ahead of Matt Maxted, the spectacular Morgan Bailey sixth ahead of Dominic Flitney, and then Chris Woollett. So a 10-point advantage in the championship for Simon Ovenden. Rob Shield is up to second, and Chris Woollett is down to third.